welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going on a treasure hunt, but we're not looking for pirate gold. Nope, we're after something way more valuable in the business world. Real, actual results. We're talking about Benefits Realisation Management. Seriously? Think of it as the ultimate map, the one that shows you exactly where X marks the spot on any project. So, grab your gear. Let's start this expedition.
Okay, so picture this. Your team crushed it. You just launched a huge project, you hit every single deadline, you even came in under budget. High fives are flying, right? Well, what if I told you none of that really matters if the project didn't actually make things better? This is where we stop talking about just getting the job done and start asking the only question that really counts. Did we create any real value?
And that brings us right to the treasure itself, a benefit. Now, don't just skim over this definition. It's not some fuzzy, feel-good idea. A real benefit is a measurable improvement. It's an advantage that someone, a real person, actually cares about. And that word perceived is so key because what's great for one team might be a total headache for another. But at the end of the day, a true benefit is something that helps the whole organization win. This is the gold we are digging for.
So, how do we find this gold? You can't just wander into the jungle and hope you trip over a treasure chest. You need a map, right? And in our world, that map is a clear, step-by-step process that takes you all the way from a cool idea to actually cashing in on those measurable benefits.
To make this whole thing super easy to follow, we're going to use something I like to call the coffee shop method. Forget all the complicated business jargon for a second. Let's just focus on something we all get, getting a really good cup of coffee fast. Trust me, this little analogy is going to make the entire journey to value perfectly clear.
All right, here's the map in action. Step 1, you have the output. That's the thing you make. In our coffee shop, it's that shiny new espresso machine. But a machine by itself does absolutely nothing, right? So you need a trained barista. That combo, the machine plus the person who knows how to work it, that's your capability. Now you can actually do something new. The outcome is what happens next. You're serving amazing coffee in under 60 seconds. And finally, the treasure, the benefit. That's the measurable improvement you get from that outcome, like, say, a 15% jump in morning sales. See the chain? Machine to skill to faster service to more money. That's the map right there. Look, every good explorer needs a toolkit. For us, the tools aren't ropes and pickaxes, they're a few key documents. And don't tune out. This isn't about boring paperwork, I promise. Think of these as your compass, your map's legend, and your expedition logbook. They're what keep the whole treasure hunt from going off the rails.
So let's quickly break down these tools. Each one has a very specific job. The benefits profile, that's a super detailed description of each piece of treasure you're hunting for. The benefits register is just your master list of all the treasure you hope to find. The plan is your guide for who does what and when they're going to do it. And the strategy? Those are just the ground rules for the entire expedition. Simple, functional, and absolutely critical. Now you might be thinking, okay, but why do we have to sort the treasure? Well, you categorize benefits for some really smart reasons. It helps you make sure you're not just chasing one type of gold. It stops you from accidentally counting the same benefit twice, which, by the way, happens all the time. But most importantly, it gives everyone a shared language so you can track your progress and figure out what's most important. It's all about strategic sorting.
And this breaks it down perfectly. There are basically two main kinds of financial impact. First, you've got your cashable benefits. This is literal money in the bank. You saved on staffing, you lowered your expenses, it's cold hard cash. Then you have non-cashable benefits. These are incredibly valuable, but they don't show up on the budget as a line item. Saving your team 5 hours a week? That's a massive win, even if you don't actually fire anyone. It's all treasure, just different kinds.
Okay, this is probably one of my favorite parts. How do you know if the benefit you're chasing is real gold or just some shiny, worthless fool's gold? Well, you need a detector. And luckily for us, there's a built-in 4-step fool's gold detector to make sure we're only chasing real tangible value. Here they are, the 4 tests that every single potential benefit has to pass. If it fails even one, it's not a real benefit. End of story. First, can you actually describe it clearly? Is it fuzzy or is it specific? Second, can you observe the change that's supposed to cause it? Can you see it happen? Third, can you attribute it directly to your project and not just, random luck? And finally, the big one. Can you actually measure it with real numbers? If you get a no to any of these, you found fool's gold. Drop it and move on.
You know, a really common mistake is thinking you just plan all this stuff once and then you're done. No way. The hunt for value is a continuous process. It doesn't stop when the project is delivered. Actually, that's usually when the real work of finding the benefits actually starts. It's a living, breathing cycle.
And here's that cycle in action. First, you identify the potential treasure on your map. Then you plan your whole expedition to go get it. You deliver the project, that's the journey, and then, and this is the most important part, you review. You open up the treasure chest and you check. Is this the gold we thought we were getting? And based on what you find, the hunt starts all over again, because there's always more value to discover.
All right, we've gone over the map, the tools, the whole process. Now it's your turn to actually start the expedition. I want to leave you with two big questions to get you thinking about how to apply this treasure map in your own world.
First one, think of a real project you've seen, one that was a success on paper, but a total failure in reality. Using that output to benefit map we just talked about, where did the chain break? Did they build the thing but nobody used it? Or did the outcome just not produce the benefit they expected? And number two, this is a tricky one. What do you do when your project's treasure is seen as a curse, a disbenefit by a really powerful stakeholder? How do you possibly manage that? Really think about these. If you can answer them, you're well on your way to becoming a master treasure hunter of real business value.